this hit make my people wanna stop. Look, this hit make my people wanna stop.
Remember, a hip-hop beef is grown men writing angry poems to each other. Until we meet again.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
I'm in love with a stripper. She climbing, she rolling, she rolling. She climbing and rolling. Believe me. I'm in love with a stripper. She tripping, she playing, she playing. I'm not going nowhere, girl, I'm staying. And we must look for it together.
No.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
Life could be worse.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Reina Creole, of course, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis and keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And of course, you are here for the Spice Lounge, where myself and my panelists and my guest panelists, you know what, we come at you with the hot takes, the spicy conversation, because we are all about just keeping it real on this channel and hanging out with you amazing people there in the chat. So let's see here. Our guest panelist, I should say, Dimaj, he'll be on his way shortly. But in the meantime, I've got one of my regular panelists here with me, Vash Sky of That Park Place, and T3PO and Theme Park Universe, right? Podcast.
Yep, Universe Podcast. It's a mouthful. I do apologize.
Okay. I want to make sure I got that right.
Hey, you are fine. Just checking in right here to the Spice Lounge, one of my favorite shows of the week. Thank you so much for having me on, Lorena. I very much appreciate it, and I appreciate you getting all the abbreviations right. There's a lot of them.
Oh, thank you. So thank you. I'm like, yeah, I want to get it right. I want to make sure I get all of them. Get all of them right. But yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Other panelists, guest panelists should be here pretty soon. But in the meantime, of course, you guys are all starting to filter in. Please do hit that like button. Let people know that the Spice Lounge is open. And remember to tip your droid waiter. I'm just saying.
Right about that. Ain't no question about that.
Yeah, gotta do that. So let's see who we all have in the chat before we get ready to get started. Let me see here. We have got Amy Jo Johnson. Well, hello, my dear. Hello. Glad you're here, hanging out with us. And let's see here. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm like taking, for some reason, today's is really off. Hey, Erica and Rob, how you doing? Good to see you. I see you waving there. Good to see you. And let's see, Amy Jo Johnson, Beyonce Knowles. Yeah. You guys talking about my cousin right there?
You're related?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are actually related. It's not a joke. It is actually true. Small population of Creoles in French Louisiana. So that's basically what happens. So many of us that are there. So we share, I think, like 7th grade grandparents that came from Quebec. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did not know it was a. I thought I know you established the connection, but I did not know it was so bonded there.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, it is indeed that far back. So yeah, all the Acadians stayed in one kind of one group, and then you have all the Creoles that are kind of like all into one group. So yeah, that's how that works. So Beyonce is my distant cousin, and unfortunately, so is Justin Bieber. So
What a combo.
we don't claim Justin Bieber. Hey John, so good to see you. Hello. Amy is here. Vash is here, of course. Says, "Woot, let's go!" Absolutely. Let's see who else we got here in the chat. Love seeing you guys. We have got Emily Kruger here in the chat who says, "Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Good to see you." Wednesday is always that middle of the week. Try to keep your Wednesdays better here. Dr. Cocho Jagan, I see you. I see you there.
Cocho.
Elastigirl. We're going to talk about that. So, man, yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit. You know, that was not going to get past me without me talking
Nope.
about it.
At all. Saw it on the clips. Knew it was coming.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you haven't noticed it about the Spice Lounge, the intro kind of gets scrambled and reshuffled every week, depending on what hot topics and what hot videos and whatever just happen to drop onto my radar. John Sapola is here. He says, "Hey guys," or "Hail guys," hail and hello. And Taylor Swift is greater than Disney, Star Wars, MCU, and Doctor Who. You are so right about that. And we got a topic about Disney, Star Wars. Actually, all three of those. Disney is a gift that keeps on giving. So, yep, we've got Disney, Star Wars news, we've got MCU news, and we have got Doctor Who news as well. So, gonna be something else. Good evening, Northman JH. Good to see you. And welcome. And Kiss My Grits. Hello. Says, "You're not a believer, Lorena. What a shame." Bad enough I'm related to him, okay? I brain the French Canadians. I do.
Man, that is quite the family tree you have there, right there. Very talented though, that's for sure.
It's one of those family trees that are so twisted. When I do genealogy research, I have to take a shot of Jack because it's trying to keep them all. Because here's the thing: people don't understand about Creoles, like Acadians, they have a whole group. They all intermarry with each other. Creole's pretty much the same thing, all intermarried with each other. You have one set of, like, say, 8th grade grandparents who, they had kids, the wife died, the husband married the sister, had kids with the sister. So, that was a common thing. That was a common thing that happened. It's like, I can't get it. I mean, but back then it was just like, that's a little weird. But not when there isn't a whole lot of people there. They kind of expected that, to happen. So, but it just makes it like, who's the, you're my 8th great grandfather twice. 3, sometimes 3 times, and then the husband would die and the sister would marry the brother. I mean,
yeah. Oh, wow.
Sounds like, how you doing?
Sounds like the Bidens there.
How y'all doing?
Crazy. Good.
A little too spicy. Hello there.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming on in. The water's warm right here. Lorena holding it down. Just talking about some genealogy and a little bit of her background in terms of her family history, and it is very illuminating. So thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. I talked about it with Damaj and I too. Yeah, Trinidad.
I'm pretty. I'm pretty much like you, Lorraine. I got a very diverse family tree. Very diverse family tree. Which is crazy to me when I hear about it on, not to go down that path, but kind of sort of. When I hear people talk that nonsense, I'm like, you do understand we all have a common ancestor. It doesn't matter how much you want to sit there and play the game. We're all humans. All humans. That's, you know, it's amazing to me. Like, even though it's kind of like a ridiculous comparison, it's almost like when you see a litter of kittens, right? The mom and dad might be a certain pigmentation, and the kittens come out all different kinds of things, but they still come from the same mother. That's exactly how we are. We all have the same forefathers and mothers. So it just drives me crazy, but you know.
I agree.
Yeah, it's something else. The more truth is stranger than fiction. That's what I tell people when it comes to that kind of stuff. Oh, it's okay, Abe. You don't even worry about Oh, thank you. They're actually the Tony Stark blue blocker glasses. Yeah. Blue glasses. So thank you. Elliot Gould from Ocean's 11. Had not, I'm going to look that up. It's a very classic kind of design. There's a bunch of right there saying, "Sup, chat." If one of my mods can put the Homogenized channel information in the chat, and you get a chance. Where do the Slytherins fit into all this genealogy? Everywhere. Everywhere, totally. There's Stunt Brat 777. Good to see you. And we have Kronos. Hello. And Northman JH says only 6 Nelson Peltz balloons on a live stream. Yes, this is what we do. Every time I'm out at the Disney parks, we look for the balloons that, Nelson Peltz's picture he had, it had a balloon. So we go around the parks, it's like a game, spotting all the Nelson Peltz balloons. Which is fun. We'll have to see if we can bump that record up in the next stream. Noah Pelkalo says, "Yo, Reina, Vash, and Demogeny. Well, good to see you." And we've got Aiken down there in Oz. He says, "Good day, everyone." Well, good day. Glad to see you. Thank you so much, Vash, for putting that in there. Yes. So Demogeny of the Dark Council, who we call the Lord Commander of the Dark Council, is our guest today. Every other week, he is on the Dark Council show along with myself. So every other week, this stream gets routed over to the Dark Council. So make sure you go over there and subscribe to Demogenized panel. Hey, Paul, I see you there. Make sure I say hello to Stunt Brat, because this lady, tell you, stunt woman in Hollywood, she's got some banging stories to tell. I love it. Every stream she has something to talk about. Okay, well, let's see. You guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
I'm good. I just over here snacking off.
Oh, that's okay. Enjoy. I've done it. It's funny because on the Dark Council, we're so used to doing it. Fatal is the worst offender, though.
Fatal does it on screen, though. That's the problem with Fatal. He does it on screen. I try to do it. At least I do this. I'm like, okay,
Right, you mute and everything that. That's fine.
Yeah, I do the Lord Callous, but with food.
Now, if you're like right in the microphone, that kind of stuff, it's like,
that's
come on now. Come on. We can't have that now.
That is
everything else, hey, you gotta eat. Ain't no issues.
Yeah, at least we kind of try to sneak it in, at least, sometimes. But speaking of kicking it off, of course, this is the Spice Lounge. We run through a bunch of pop culture topics, especially what I like to call up top hot topics. And I'm sure Demogeny is familiar with a radio personality and one of my favorite media personalities known as Wendy Williams before she would start her regular show.
Yes, I remember Wendy. She used to rock Hot 97. She did Kiss FM too, if I'm correct. I think she was in Kiss FM. Then she went to Hot 97, and then she went completely mainstream and had her own like talk show and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, she went to Power 99 in Philly and changed.
Okay, that's what she went after
Yes, that's where
Yes,
she went.
do.
She went to Power 99 in Philly, and I would listen to her, and I'm like, oh, this is just nuts how she does her show. But yeah, in case folks did not know, the Country Bears is getting an update, and
Are they looking what I'm looking at right now?
yes,
Are they
yes,
are they
these are
getting
their
are they getting skittified?
they're like, how would I put it? Before they had on the nice little bonnets and the dresses, think they would call them the Sunshine Bears, Beulah, and I forget what the other two were.
Bubbles, Beulah. The third one always escapes me, but I thought they were like the Sunny Bonnets or something.
Yeah,
I think you're
from Florida.
yeah, from Florida. And you're right about that. But the Dolly Parton look. Well, I shouldn't say Dolly Parton look. The
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
yeah, the attempt, the try
Yeah.
hard Dolly Parton look. Bubbles, Beulah, and Barbenheimer. That's great.
That's gonna be in my brain from now on.
Yes, now that's gonna be the third bear forever. Do apologize right there. Yeah, so I don't know if I've told you this right now. I've been privy to some documents related to the Country Bear Jamboree, and I did see this costume design before it was unveiled. It looked better in the art that I saw, but seeing it here live, I don't know if it completely works. That's for sure. Now that makes me fearful of the other character designs that I've seen. Henry, by the way, I don't know about that look, but you'll find out. So the thing that has me concerned, well, two things. One is the music choice. So I have been privy to listening to at least a portion of one of the songs, and it was basically the bare necessities, but in a very country twang. So it was like, oh, the bare necessities, oh, the bare necessities, that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, like it could work. We'll see what the actual execution is. But we all thought that we were going to get new bears, and apparently that is not the case. There might be a new bear or two, we'll see. But hidden in the documentation, they actually pointed out how the bears for this iteration of the Country Bear Jamboree have never been smoother because they've had parts specifically harvested from the Splash Mountain audio animatronics next door. So we know that those generations of audio animatronics are not compatible with each other, and that can only mean one thing: that these are the original bears, but just refreshed.
Yeah, just kind of scavenge some parts to keep them moving in the meantime.
Right.
So they're trying to kill off the bears to make room for a Bayou-themed van eventually. I don't know, but it's like I look and I think that there's a, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, put on my tinfoil mini ears like I like to do. One of the reasons why the original getup that they had, I think one of the reasons why it is problematic is not just because of the outfits, but because of the song that they are singing. Every guy who turns me on turns me down.
Oh, so good. It makes me laugh every time.
People laugh, and it's so funny. It's such a funny song, but I can see how we all know about the Story Matters group who said, oh, that's kind of like a problem. So I guess having a bears in, mid-thigh dresses and bonnets on is a problem. So instead, we've got a pink version of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders singing who knows what. But yeah, they are cute, Stud Bread. I'm not denying that. They are cute. But I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned.
And that's from Disney, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should be worried.
Yes.
You should
Yes.
be worried.
Yes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, because of what they're doing to that show. Nothing was wrong with the original songs. It was supposed to be this like frontier backwoods down home type of show that people
Right.
liked because it was cheesy and
Yeah.
fun. But I think they're not gonna let Big Al sing Blood on the Saddle or I forget the other one who sings Please Don't Whip Little Buford.
Yeah. I don't think. Please don't whip Little Buford, I think, is gone. Blood on the Saddle, though, you say that. Big Al, interestingly enough, was the only character that wasn't changed from the character designs that I saw. Everyone else had new costume or maybe some small facial changes and so forth. Like, for example, what do they call it? Romeo McGraw now, from his previous name right there. He's been changed quite a bit. But Big Al hasn't been changed almost at all. So I'm hopeful that maybe we keep, a song or two from the original. That would be nice. But I think the great thing about the previous version of the Country Bear Jamboree was that it was a little bit risque. It was a little bit, it wasn't so clean cut. There was some there was some fun to be had there. And Mark Davis really played that up with his designs and so forth. And unfortunately now we're stripping that back, and I'm just worried that it's going to be bland.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm worried it's going to be just some kind of generic experience when it's supposed to be, that like frontier attitude, in a bottle, and that's what people wanted to see. It's like sitting in Buffalo Wild Wings in a way. You got like the heads that are on the wall that talk, and and they interact, and then the cast members like to get people just like clap, and they and they love it. But updating the song, well.
As soon as I get a ladder, I'll be right up. That kind of stuff,
Dang it, gal. I love that freaking part. I love that part. They get real happy when the Dolly Parton character comes on down from the ceiling, which I thought was really, really cute.
Yes.
So cute. Commander Sid said, why can't they leave some of the timeless treasures alone, update the coasters and stuff? But I love Carousel of Progress and Country Bear. Yes, there are parts that need to be updated, but overall, yeah, that is a very good question. They really can't, because you've got a group like the Stories Matter groups that consider some of these things to be problematic, things that people really haven't complained about. I have not seen anyone complaining. Hey, Nita, complaining that there's something offensive about this show. If there's anything offensive about this show, is that it seems to end a lot earlier than it should, because you're just having so much fun laughing at it. And when Big Al sings Blood on the Saddle, okay, that everybody loves that.
Well, they edited the show a few years ago and removed a couple of parts and so forth. So if it feels like it ends too fast, it's because it does. They edited it down. I want to say anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes of the show has been removed, which in this age of attempting to get as much capacity out of these things as possible. Obviously, that's changed a little bit with Genie Plus, but
yeah,
suffice to say, there was a time when it was like, okay, we had to really get the maximum capacity out of these things as much as possible. So when we turn over these shows like this, we want to have like 4 shows an hour rather than 3 shows an hour, that kind of thing. Tiki Room also suffered the same fate, at least at Disneyland. I believe you might have gotten a truncated version of even that at Walt Disney World. I'm not sure after under new management, but I know at Disneyland, Tiki Room was the Offenbach section removed when that came back from refurb in 2005 for the 50th anniversary. So, it's they've made adjustments to these things before. We were actually surprised at how much was retained the last time they adjusted Country Bear Jamboree. They haven't had the overlays for quite some time, like the Christmas overlay, the Vacation Hoedown, that kind of stuff. So I suppose it was time to change something, but it's unfortunate that they had to change everything about this show, strip out all of those original songs, and I'm sure a lot of that original humor, and replace it with something so generic.
Yeah. And that's kind of like my issue with that. But then you go from something like that to things like this happening at the I can't. I have
I'm
never.
trying to figure out who thought that was. Who they thought that was for? Like I don't get it. Like I guess she's supposed to be able to be flexible, but I'm just.
I've seen Elastigirl at the cavalcade that they would have at Disney Studios. Like they have like a little, parade thing, and she's mostly walking. Okay, and she has a nice strut to her. Because let's face it, you gotta wear the big heels like that. It's very 60s. That's how she's walking around. The Miss America thing, and it's it's really cool. The whole, Mr. Fantastic, they're all there and everything. But this right here, I have never seen. I've never seen this.
I mean, she's she loud and she proud. I mean, it's that's really something right there.
I don't know who thought at Disney that this is definitely not at Disney Studios.
No. So is this I don't recognize the park offhand. Maybe I'm not because I have you on my
Is it DCA?
I thought it kind of looked like it at first, but I don't think it is. I don't recognize the architecture. I thought it was that kind of looks like Disney Adventure World, previously Walt Disney Studios in Paris. To me.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then that would kind of make a little bit more sense.
Oui.
Because yeah, they're cool with stuff like that, but not here in the South. Oh, you're not right. So
wait a minute. I thought you guys. Wait. I thought the South was all about looking like Indiana Jones when you're trekking through the bayou and wearing pants. I thought that's.
Well,
am I wrong about this? Is Disney lying to me?
What's at the strip club stays in the strip.
Where's the poll? Pause.
I don't know, but this is Father Brothers France. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess it is. Chris McGritt says, "Yeah, I think it's Disneyland. I think it's Disney Paris."
Okay, yeah, that kind of makes a little bit more sense because I was trying to pick it out, but it's the only one of the studio parks that I haven't actually been to, so it escaped me off the bat there. Yeah, maybe it's a French thing. I don't know. It's the city of romance.
You do the kickball, change. I guess the review thing. I don't know, burlesque show. I have no idea.
Moulin Rouge,
different. So a little bit different. And whoever it is, they're probably from Cirque du Soleil and forgot which show they were in. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Lorena, we know where she came from. She was at the Epcot show. That's right?
The nature
there
show.
You go.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, there we go. We explained it. Nita says we're Southern ladies. We keep the pole private, sugar. There you go. That's right. Oh my gosh, Tina, we're going through hot topics, which just for the Spice Lounge, we just go through whatever stuff happened to get on my radar that we just we just have to show you guys. This is the newest the newest act at Rachel's Steakhouse. Yeah, I know exactly where Rachel's is. Maybe I'll share that story one day. Hey, Dave Cable's is very kid friendly. And they say Tinkerbell is problematic. Yeah. Those wacky friends.
Those wacky French. I mean, that's a great pause you got there. I'm sure other people were enjoying that.
Oh yeah, you can't say I don't keep y'all happy. Because dang it, I saw it, so I have to see it too. So I have to give props to Showcase of Wishes, who retweeted a Pimp Master Broda, who I do believe has dropped into the Dark Council from time to time. So thank you so very much, because that one had me in tears. like 10 minutes, I was laughing. I had to send it to my sister.
That's great. Love Showcase. He's been sending all kinds of stuff, whether it be Splash Mountain, Zippity Doo Dah being performed in front of a Hall of Presents, or sharing a lovely dance number involving, what is it, the Wreck-It Ralph song there in Japan. That's pretty funny.
Yes, we are bringing the spice. So let's go on to our first hot topic. Straight from the Hollywood Reporter's Heat Vision section, Adam Wingard not returning for Godzilla x Kong sequel exclusive. Wingard directed and co-wrote Legendary's latest MonsterVerse installment that earned $564 million worldwide since its March 29th opening. Have the both of you seen the Godzilla x Kong film?
I have not. Do apologize, but $500 million film, not too shabby.
I saw -1. That's the one I saw.
Oh God, -1 was. It's like
actually, I got to get that physical copy though. That's what I got to do.
That's what I want. I want the steelbook of Godzilla.
Get your physical media, people. You got to get it, because
yes, you got to get it.
Keeping it on digital is not a safe bet. Not an investment.
You don't own it.
Nope. The only digital you should have is the digital copy you rip yourself from physical media. So that's the only one that you should have. But yeah, this film I did see in the theater. It was a fun watch. Definitely probably going to get more of a viewership when it goes to streaming, probably when it hits HBO. It is definitely not the same universe as the Toho films. The Toho films are much more serious. This is more like a buddy cop, but still, it was fun to watch, like Kong throwing sand in Godzilla's eyes and like WWE. But anyway, Adam Wingard isn't going to return to do the sequel, and it's interesting with the Hollywood Reporter and with a lot of these Hollywood sites that are out there. A lot of it is, I would say, maybe calming nerves, so to speak, because let's see, not too long ago, it was announced that the guy who was writing the Godzilla x Kong sequel is the dude who wrote Shang-Chi and the 10 Bracelets.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I saw that movie and I forgot about it. Like, I forgot about almost everything that's been coming out MCU. So I don't know how people keep getting jobs doing stuff they do. I just don't know how they keep doing it.
Well, apparently that train's kind of ended, because Kevin Feige recently coming out saying, we're going to slow down the output and content and so forth. I think Bob Iger said something similar at the Moffat Nathanson conference there as well, saying, yeah, we may have gone a little bit too far, a little bit too fast with our investments in streaming and our Marvel strategy going forward. So we're going to reduce the volume right there. So, to your point, I think a lot of people have not only forgotten, but they're not getting taken for a ride anymore.
Yeah, it's also with the audience where Bob Iger's saying that type of thing. It's like he's talking to, and Rash, it's like he's talking to the investors, kind of like, please don't pull your money out of Disney. We know what we're talking about. We said that like last year that we were going to cut back, but we really
we mean
do.
it. We really miss it this
We
time.
really mean it this time. We really, we really mean it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the musical Chicago or even the movie Chicago, where the lawyer has to start tap dancing about getting his client, off for murder, and he starts doing the tap dance, to don't look at how guilty she is. Look at just how pitiful she is. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. I mean, this movie, Shang-Chi and the 10 Bracelets, okay, it's like it wasn't the worst MCU movie, but we've seen stuff like it before. So it really wasn't, all that impressive. But the fact that they got the same person now, they announced this on May 10th. Then you get this announcement on the 25th. And what I think what happened was, and they allude to it in the article, word got out about who was doing the sequel, because Adam Wingard, apparently he got his action movie for A24, I believe. And he's working on that. And I think that starts shooting in the fall. Well, Legendary wants their next Monsterverse movie filmed closer than that. So they kind of de facto said, okay, we understand. Who else can we get to write this? So this is more like, we still love you, Adam, but just saying, no hard feelings, we hope.
Has to be a pay cut attached to that. I would think that Legendary would have paid quite the premium to keep him on, and maybe I would think more than A24, since they're kind of a smaller studio who doesn't necessarily pay out the big bucks for big budget pictures. So that's really interesting right here. Look, I think the Godzilla X Kong, I don't know, the Godzilla combined shared universe here, it has always had kind of a rocky history, right? In terms of box office performance, in terms of production and all of that. So I guess it's more of the same, but it's kind of unfortunate that Legend of the Ten Rings got it. That's can't say I'm very excited at this point.
Nah. And Dylan was talking about failing up. It is about who you know. From the period of time that I spent living in the Hollywood ecosystem, a lot of it is about who you know and who they want to promote. So it's not necessarily all about talent, because it's not really. It's not about talent. It's about who knows who and who knows what.
And that movie didn't even have 10 rings in it, 10 bracelets.
No. No, it didn't. Didn't at all. And yeah, Kiss My Grits, we gonna talk about that. Because that was
I love that freaking avatar. Kiss My Grits.
Isn't it
I used to
great?
watch that show all the time.
So good.
There was Alice, right? That was the name of that show? Alice? What was the name of that show?
Alice?
Was it Alice? I think it was Alice.
It was Alice. Yeah, it was Alice. Said Mel's Diner.
Mm-hmm.
That was in there. But yeah, well, since Kiss My Grits has brought it up, let's go ahead and jump to that one. And this was hot off the presses today. What? Marvel sets Vision series for 2026 with Paul Bettany and Star Trek Picard executive producer Terry Matalas as showrunner.
I listen. I like what Vision is to the MCU, but is that really a tent pole type of deal to like lead with Vision? I'm just saying, like, I mean, he's a cool character and all, but does he need a whole series?
It wouldn't be the series that I would have greenlit, especially for reducing the amount of content and content spend. I think there are much more. There are characters that are closer to top tier than Vision. Not to say that Vision's a bad character.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad character at all. It's just,
but
I'm just
can he
thinking,
hold
like,
a series?
I mean, because we already saw what they did with Scarlet Witch, which would have kind of tied into a Vision thing, and they screwed the pooch with that one. And to be fair, I liked the first few episodes. I liked the concept of it. I thought it was pretty good. Like they could have went with the whole, which a lot of people have thrown this idea around. They could have went that she was basically imprisoned by Mephisto, and she was stuck in that world.
I thought we were gonna get.
But no, they want to make her. I mean, why would you do that? Like, listen, we know Scarlet Witch has a checkered past in the comics, but her checkered past wasn't something that happened in the future. It was something that happened in the past. Because if you're going by her story, if anything, she should have been a part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, which of course they didn't have that at that time. So I guess you missed that train. Not unless they should have just, like everybody said, once Endgame happened, start over. Fantastic Four, X-Men, Avengers, and work your way back up.
Sure.
Yeah, I just go ahead, Vash.
No, I was just I echo the points raised here. I like the Vision character, like the Scarlet Witch character, but the way they did them in WandaVision was just, you could have pulled it off a lot better. And the hook was there for the first couple episodes.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it really, really worked and really, really worked well.
Yeah,
but they just couldn't at all stick the landing. Now we're gonna go ahead and have a spin-off show, and like KMG said, it's like, man, out of all the shows that you greenlight, especially in this very volume conscious state that Marvel and Disney's in, this is the one you go forward with. Like that's kind of crazy. Now, apparently, Terry Matalas, he was the I believe the showrunner or executive producer for the Star Trek Picard season 3 that everybody liked. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. He was very. I mean, there's some people who don't like it. Either way, I liked it. Anyway, it was the end to next gen that we should have gotten in the first place, and we did not. So I have to give Matalas props for how he set that whole thing up. It was like mystery after mystery after mystery. And he actually connected a lot of dots within the Star Trek lore to do this whole season. So he has the attention to detail to do it. My whole issue is, why do this for Vision of all people? I mean, Vision, let's face it, he's human Siri, okay? And it's Jarvis in corporeal form, or whatever it is that you want to call it. But I don't see him as being that interesting. I'm not really interested in seeing a show about Vision trying to find himself or something like that. It doesn't seem like it's something that's worth a series. I mean, could be different, could be better than that. I don't know. But considering that this was something that they had in the can for the chick who was responsible for WandaVision, of course, guess what she's working on? The Agatha.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. You mean Agatha, whatever the show is going to be called?
Whatever title we got this
flavors
week that we're going to use,
So essentially it's a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off, because both of these type of shows are both spin-off of WandaVision, which WandaVision is basically a spin-off of the Avengers. It's like, I mean, okay, sure. Keep trying, and I don't think it's going to work for you. I'm just saying. Again, this might have worked if they would have done the thing that people wanted, which is have it be a Mephisto thing and continue that story. Even with the whole Doctor Strange mom, that should have been it. It's the thing that really bothers me is that they even with because Doctor Strange, the first movie was I enjoyed it, right? And they had a big bad in it that was worth something. Dormammu, okay? Dormammu is a problem, okay? Mephisto's a problem. Shumagoroth is a problem, which they gave us a lame version of Shumagoroth and Mom. I'm never gonna let them live that down. You're gonna put what they put a guy Gargantua, and they signed him like Shumagoroth, and they killed him off. So now you can't ever have Shumagoroth in here because they already had the one. They're always gonna be confusing people, whatever, because you know that's what they're gonna do, right? Shumagoroth is a dimension killer, basically. Him, Mephisto, and Dormammu. Those to me would have been a much better big bad than Kang, honestly, out of those three. If you really wanted to kick off a problem with the Avengers level problem, it should have been one of those three. But no.
Is it
Agatha.
possible?
It was Agatha. It was Agatha.
Is it possible the plan might be to, I don't know, turn back the time on some of these decisions regarding the two of these characters through this series?
Not.
I'm just saying. I mean, maybe that could be why they're doing something like this. Because I mean, from a business perspective, it doesn't make a ton of sense unless it is trying to kind of. Because I would think Vision is the only one capable of doing anything like that. I'm even going into my head. I'm like, well, it's not even that. It can't even be that cheap of a show. Because doesn't Paul Bettany have to be in the chair for like something like 4 hours each day in order just to put the makeup on? Then he has a pretty effects heavy character, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if this is. I don't want to give Disney ideas. Not that I think they get this right, but are they going to use this to quote unquote try to stick the landing from WandaVision?
It's possible.
That's kind of what it sounds like. Because Agatha's coming out anyway, right?
Yeah, that's coming out. So that's been a development hot mess for about the past year and a half. I think it was announced not too long after WandaVision, and there really was not a whole lot of hype about it. They're just kind of like, why should we care about that? Who, like Agatha? Who? What? Why do we even?
Exactly.
Really...
She's not even worth being a big bad, worth saying anything.
No.
Like she was like a E level antagonist or whatever, right? And you're gonna put her in the forefront. And real quick, Buddy Smith said they had to use Gargantua's name because Marvel doesn't own Shumagoroth's name. I mean, I guess then why use him at all? Then, like that's the thing that annoys me. Like, why even use that character at all if you're gonna do anything like that? It doesn't that just doesn't make no sense to me.
No, and I think yet again the biggest problem with Marvel is that it's like they don't have people that respect the comics lore. That's it.
That's 100%.
And they won't admit that they don't know. I mean, it's one thing if I'm like, okay, well, I don't quite know exactly what the deal is with this comic book character. So I tell you what, you go get me all the issues, y'all read them, you come back, let me read them, and we'll go from there. Because I don't think it's a problem if you don't know the comics, but I think the problem comes in where you think you know better than the lore that's that's out there.
That's the thing that drives me crazy, Lorena. You're right. It's like you have your job because of these decades old floppies that you are trying to disrespect. Your job doesn't exist if I, Little Demogeny, wasn't going to the bodegas and getting my Marvel comics. Okay, that your job doesn't exist unless I did that. So for you to think kind of like annoy everybody by doing this nonsense is just ridiculous. It really is.
I think Agatha. I did not see her. They recently announced Oogie Boogie Bash for Disney California Adventure, and Agatha has been a mainstay for that party, Halloween party for years now, ever since WandaVision really took off. I didn't see her on the list though, so she didn't even last the length of her upcoming show in the parks, and we're gonna produce a whole series about her. Okay. This is where we're going.
Yeah, so we're going with it. And yeah, Charles, if I'm a betting person, I'm gonna say no. I don't see Disney giving him the kind of latitude that that Paramount gave him for Picard, because they pretty much had no choice, because the first 2 seasons of Picard were ass. I mean, just there's no way around it. They were freaking horrible. And yes, I have PTSD from watching the first season of Picard. I was so
I didn't even attempt. I didn't
Yeah,
even attempt to do it.
it's like I was curious about it. I wasn't watching Discovery because I knew that was trash, so I didn't watch that. I'm like, okay, if they can take
STD.
Picard and make him the most
STD.
interesting man in Starfleet, I was like, okay, I can see that. But you know, they didn't. God, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
One more thing. I just remember something. Just to touch on the Marvel thing real fast before we move on. That one video that they had where all the writers, producers were saying, "Oh, we didn't." They told us not to watch. Not to, like, they literally got on it. And I'm like, this is exactly why you guys are failing. Exactly why you're failing. When you look at something like X-Men 97, it's almost basically, I mean, they are taking some liberties, but they're doing comic book stories. And I would be the first to admit, even though I put on my straw hat, me watching that was a shocker. It was a shocker. I was not expecting X-Men 97 to be good. I was not.
And they fired Bo DeMayo.
Yeah. Although I will say, you saw the last episode? Did you see the last one?
I haven't finished it. I saw half of it. It was my fault. I got distracted, but yeah.
So I will say they waited to that very last episode to do the morph thing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was basically like a blink and you miss it, but they did it. They did do it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. It's stupid still, but whatever.
It's like, I'll give them that. You know, the show was good, so it's like, okay, I'll give you that. But going from a show that was written scarily well to one that is still crap.
Oh boy.
Here's excuses, because we
I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't watch any of this.
Dude, you're better off. You're better off. I watched the first 2 episodes.
Why? Why'd you do it to yourself?
I wish that I hadn't. Well, here's the reason why. And you already know me with this. When I want to throw shade, I need to be salty watching it so I can get into it. Every single thing, from seeing, the skinny black doctor in this really weird looking club with some of the worst drum and bass music I've ever heard in my life, with the worst lines. I mean, just no.
But Lorena, it says you're istophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. I'm totally istophobic about this one, because you're making me sit through crap just so you can make a point, and because people don't want to watch it, now you're going to go with this tired excuse. You're going to blame racism for viewers abandoning the show. It's really just sad for them. Correct me if I'm wrong, and Vash and Demontra, now you probably heard this. Didn't they tell us not to watch it?
They always say that. They always say that until it's time for those numbers to come in. Then they want to blame you for those numbers not being high enough.
I was like, fine, don't want to watch it, right? Okay, so now, according to an article published in NPR, can't believe that's still around. Okay, Nakuti Gatwa blamed racism for why people were abandoning the show. Space Babies was freaking horrible. It was bad. Anyway, he told the outlet, I don't want to diminish racial aggression at all, but for me personally, I find it fascinating that it matters so much to these people. You are going to limit yourselves from a show that you claim to love because you don't like something about someone's appearance or their race. Gatwa added, it's just really sad for them.
What do you mean, these people?
I need that clip from Tropic Thunder.
What do you mean, these people?
What do you mean, these people? I'm not even. The hubris is just what gets me.
So I'll be the first to admit I never really was a Doctor Who fan. I knew about him. I knew the show. I knew it's from the BBC and all that stuff like that. I knew what it stood for, right? So for me, as an outsider looking at this, I freaking feel so bad for Doctor Who fans because they're getting it worse than what we got with Star Wars because this is a lot older than Star Wars, right?
Yes.
So you have several decades prior to Star Wars that Doctor Who's been around, and you have people been fans of this for that long, only for them to sit there and give it modernity, right? Just for nonsense sake, right? And then they're going to turn around and say, "Oh, I don't want to get on your channel because I don't want your channel getting flagged." But I'm just so sick right now. I'm so sick of this, which is crazy because I feel like the old timer right now. Get off my lawn, kids. This younger generation. This all about me. It's like in Hook. Remember that scene in Hook when he's like, Your parents put you to be, oh, I want the potty, I want the pee-pee. It's me, my. Like that's how this. It's like it drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy, and it's this narcissism that everything had to be about you. How about they don't like the show? It's not about you. They don't like the show. They don't like the way it's going because that's what he's making this about. He's making it about him rather than the show being crap. That's what he's doing.
Well, we've seen this behavior from people behind shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, or Last Jedi. So, Dimaj and I think the Star Wars link there is appropriate for sure because we saw that with Kelly Marie Tran, Rose Tico. We saw that with Riva. I don't believe Moses Ingram nor Kelly Marie Tran actually joined in that, which
they did,
separates...
and I never blamed them. I never blamed them. This is always the system that has been forcing it. The access media, they were the ones doing this. Same thing with oh my God, Jar Jar Binks. What's his name?
Ahmed Best.
Ahmad Best.
Yeah. All the crap that he would do was from the mainstream. The internet didn't exist back then, not in the form that it did now. Like, what are you saying?
Well, you have people that hide behind these actors or actresses as shields for with their immutable characteristics in order to conceal the fact that they themselves can't write or produce anything great. Now, it's very interesting in this case because you have the actual actor coming out and saying, well, it's because of this and that and the other thing. And it's like, no. We've tried this before. We tried to, race bait or do this stuff where we divide the audience or create controversy or whatever. Nobody's buying this. If people aren't watching your show, it's demonstrable that there is something else about it other than just the race of those characters or the immutable characteristics of those characters. If you can't produce compelling content, that's really what's at issue. So stop this. I get frustrated because it's just I'm tired of seeing this.
It is. It's a hot mess, and I'm just going to say no. It's not because you're black. It's because the show sucks, and your acting with that show is not particularly all that great. It's like that episode of Key and Peele with the gay cube mate, and he's doing all kinds of stuff until he finds out that his office mate is gay, and he's like, maybe I'm not persecuted. Maybe I'm just an a-hole. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. But again, this is another case of it's a piss poor product, and their way of trying to protect this piss poor product as having the cootie Gatwa say something like this. So I can't wait until, because the ratings are in the toilet. They're going to continue to go in the toilet, and I can't wait till the post-mortem of this happens. And we see just how far into the toilet it's going to go. I think they have 3 episodes in. Like, I think they've got like 5 more episodes left. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I know it's not the same topic, but you know what's going to come next. The next scene is coming right behind this, which is doesn't it start next week? Is the Acolyte?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
I can't wait to hear their complaints.
Oh, we gonna get to that, because it's very interesting what they're doing with promoting the Acolyte. So we're actually gonna get to that one in a minute. But enough with Doctor Who. Once again, this is back in the news. The reason we're gonna bring this up: Pirates of the Caribbean producer would bring Johnny Depp back in new reboot if it were up to me. Thinks Disney still really wants to make Margot Robbie's pirate movie. Now, there's 2 parts to this. There is the reboot, and then there's a spinoff. So there's actually 2 Pirates of the Caribbean films that are being talked about by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Gotcha.
It's dead, Jim. It's dead. It's dead, Jim. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. If you're not going to bring Johnny back, which to be fair, I'm listen. How many more of these do you actually need? How many more do you actually need? Some things you need to quit while you're ahead. I listen. I like the first 2 or 3. I think I had the first 2 or 3, and then
first 2 were good.
I don't know about I can't remember what was the 3rd one. Was that when
at World's End?
That's when he became the Flying Dutchman, right?
Yeah, because there was the first Pirates of the Caribbean, then Dead Man's Chest, right?
Dead Man's Chest, yeah.
And then at World's
End.
The other one was, and then there was the 4th one that had Blackbeard in it, which was really boring.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
You didn't miss nothing.
Yeah, so certain things need to stop where they're ahead. And if you're not going to bring back Johnny, right, which they're probably not, they're just not going to do it, right? Same reason, like, even though he technically got exonerated, but like with what's his name, Kang, they're not going to bring him back at all because he got found guilty. So even though he went to court and then everything kind of went in his favor, they're not going to bring him back because in their eyes he's the bad guy still, right? And that's not the type of, like the Disney don't like the bad press type of deal. So I don't know. Which, look, are we supposed to are we supposed to forgive people if they paid their dues, whatever? You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't, he paid a fine, so whatever. Like, I think he won everything except for one of the charges, and he had to pay her some money, but she had to pay everything else.
Yeah,
the British case, the I think the UK case, is the only hold up. Which if you look at that, if you look at the details of that case, wasn't fair. I'll put it that way. It's been really weird because Johnny Depp's character is still Jack Sparrow is still at Pirates of the Caribbean attractions all over the world, actually, in Shanghai, Disneyland, and Walt Disney World. He has just his segment in Fantasmic at Disneyland has just been removed, I believe, and replaced with Peter Pan, which that has a history there. So there might be external factors at play there, but it is kind of interesting how on the eve of Fantasmic coming back, the only segment that was really changed was that segment, right? So that's a little weird. The problem is, I agree with you, Jumanji, that I would very much love to see a Johnny Depp starring Pirates of the Caribbean again. I think a lot of the world would love to see that. Problem for Disney, though, 2 things. One, I think they're looking at it the same way you are, is like, okay, well, how far can we really take this thing, even if we do bring Johnny Depp back? And 2, Margot Robbie just had a $1 billion+ film in Barbie.
But that doesn't translate though. It doesn't always translate.
I'm just telling you what they think. I'm not.
No, I know, because Barbie was lightning in the bottle, and it was done right. Honestly, as far as the way they
marketing
put that, the marketing, they did that movie right.
Sure.
Look, I get it. When I make my characters and MMOs, I make female characters. Okay, some part of the reason is because I like to look at pretty girls, instead of looking at guys all day. That's my main reason. But here's the deal, right? I get that you want to have some ladies being, action stars and all that stuff like that. But if you're doing a movie, because if they did a Margot Robbie's Pirates, she's gonna have a all girls ship. I'm pretty sure. We're talking about Disney now. Would that make sense in the 1700s? Does that make sense? I don't know. Would that make sense?
No, it would not. Because if you go with a real female pirate, there were few of them, and they usually masqueraded as men for the most part. You're not going to get a whole pirate ship full of women. And to go back to what's actually been done with the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney, I can't really speak that much for Disneyland because Disney World is the one that I'm familiar with seeing. By degrees, they have changed that attraction to, appeal to modern sensibilities. First, there was the scene where the pirates were chasing the women around. I think there were two of them. They were chasing the women around. And then the third one, you had the matron of the house chasing one of the pirates around. That was funny. That made sense. Well, people thought that was a problem. So now they have all the women chasing the pirates around like that would actually happen. No. So if that wasn't bad enough, okay, everybody remembers the scene where, get a wench for a bride, buy a wench for a bride. And they had like all the ugly chicks that were chained up. And they had one girl who was actually, she was a big girl, but she was proud of what she looked like. Strike your colors, you brazen wench. Show them your larboard side. I mean, it was so un-PC, but it was very, very exact, and it was straight, to the times. Everybody wanted the redhead. She was red. She was showing that ankle, and tell her stop showing your ankle. I gotta sell all these other chicks. I can't deal, with you. And that was the whole thing. But then they changed that, and then they put Captain Jack Sparrow in the attraction, which was okay. But without Johnny Depp, you don't have a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I mean, you can try to do a spinoff all you want, but I really don't think it's going to go over very well. And I think Disney is deluding themselves and thinking that they can actually do this without him.
I think they're going to try to give this the Ghostbusters 2016 treatment. If they did do a Margot Robbie's Pirates, they're probably going to do that. I can see Disney being that dumb. I can see him being that dumb. But like I was saying before about listen, if you're going to do stuff like, for instance, right, I'm going to touch on a couple of things that we haven't gotten into yet. But if you're going to do a movie, right, and it's based in the rules of that world, right? For instance, a light whip, right? A light whip, it's not going to go from straight to whip. Okay, it's a plasma. It's not going to do that. It also isn't going to be like a lightsaber, right? It's going to be different, right? So with the pirate situation, you got to base it into reality, right? So like we say, you're not going to have a ship full of females as pirates in that time. It's just not going to happen, right? Now, I don't know if you were going to talk about Yasuke.
Yes.
But yeah, so
we don't get to that.
Yeah, so just I just lead into this a little bit before I go heavy into it, because I don't want to mess up your flow. If you're gonna do something, it needs to be based in the reality that it is in. So Star Wars, even though it's science fantasy, it has the word science in it. So it needs to make some kind of sense. Light does not do this. It doesn't. It doesn't spin around like a whip, okay? The true light whip was actually a whip with kyber crystals in it. That's what a light whip is supposed to be. And it was not used by a freaking Jedi. It was used by the Sith. That is a Sith weapon. Jedi don't make weapons for maiming.
Mm-hmm.
Sith make weapons for maiming, not Jedi. But I'm sorry, that was my quick little rant.
Oh no,
I know we didn't get into those, but that was a little preview.
a little preview.
My main takeaway from that is that if you're doing a show, a movie, a video game, and it has certain rules in there, certain parameters, you need to stay within those parameters in order for it to make sense.
Right.
If you don't do that, then you're gonna piss off your customers, and then you're gonna flip around and turn around and say, "Oh, it's because you're istaphobe or you don't like women." No, it's because you're going outside of the boundaries, like with freaking 40K outside of the boundaries. I don't know.
You're exactly right. I think you're right about this. These franchise films provide escapism, right? They provide you a world in which you escape into that have a certain set of rules that you abide by. Once you break those rules, like, I don't know, pulling off a couple of holdo maneuvers or whatever, now it's like, oh, wait a minute, hang on here. This might be cool to you, and this might be cool to, I don't know, a certain segment of the audience. But for people who are looking at these genre films for more than just dumb, I don't know, fantasy or dumb lights on screen, it really does break that integrity and that level of immersion that people want from these things, and thus the whole saga breaks.
Yeah, that it does. But flipping on over here to the Acolyte. Now, of course, the Acolyte, I believe, premieres, what is it, June? Is it 2nd or is it the 4th?
Let me look at
Either way,
it's coming up this week, this month. Well, next month. Whatever.
Yeah, it's coming soon. It's coming soon, and I make it claim for this, but I'll let you guys watch it anyway. Of course, they are highlighting.
Someone is killing Jedi. She was my student. I trained her.
You got boyfriend from Squid Game. So this is the new trailer that they dropped for the Acolyte. Now, I find it very interesting that rather than going full throttle into Amanda Steinberg's character, and interesting enough, and I'm actually going to get to this with respect to marketing, they're focusing on Jae Jung Lee. And if you don't know who this guy is, if you have watched Squid Game, he was the lead character in Squid Game. Actually, he did an awesome job. I mean, he's already an established, star in Korea. But I find it interesting that they're focusing on him, on his character. And if you go to this post from Star Wars, you have Leslie Headland, aka Harvey Weinstein's former
personal assistant.
Personal assistant. I will keep bringing that up because some folks are trying to forget that. She says in this, and probably want to hear it in her
I was writing the character of Soul when Squid Game came out. I said that's Soul.
You carry a...
So here's my thing. Have y'all seen Squid Game?
No, I haven't.
I'm afraid I haven't.
Okay. Watch Squid Game when you get a chance. It's written extremely freaking well. I mean, the premise is insane, and each episode is better and better and better. Like, are they gonna go there? Yeah, they went there. It's something else. But here's what I don't really get. His character in Squid Game does not translate, at least to me, she made me think of something else, to, like, say, a Jedi Master. The guy he played in Squid Game was basically a loser for the most part. I mean, that's the thing that he had. Loser, he was literally at the end of his rope and just had somebody come up to him and said, hey, what if you had a chance to get all your debt settled. All you have to do is participate in this game. And he learns as he goes along, but I'm just like, I can't see where that lines up. So is it okay, you grab this guy because he was in Squid Game and you just want to dump him in Star Wars?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the deal with that? Because my whole thing is, I'm like, he's a well-known actor in Korea. Is Star Wars going to screw him over like they did John Boyega?
You're not wrong, because they are notorious for screwing people over.
I mean, the way that Leslie Headland seemingly utilizes the franchise that is Star Wars and these actors and characters and so forth and these concepts, it's almost like action figures, that we're just shoving together over and over again, and there's really no rhyme or reason to it. So I wouldn't doubt that they mistreat either the characters or the actors themselves. Not mistreatment in the physical sense, but in just a debasing sense, with this series or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this here trailer or whatever they got here, and I just it just bothers me so much every time I see this, because this is such a departure of the grand plan that it makes zero sense. I'm going to beat this horse until I pick it up and bury it again. The grand plan was not just the Sidious thing. The grand plan was the entire rule of two. If you're part of the rule of two, you are part of the grand plan. The grand plan dictates you do not make yourself known until you're ready to eliminate the Jedi. You're walking around eliminating Jedi before the grand plan is ready to go. You're letting people know that the Sith exists. Now, are they going to sit there? I don't think they're this smart that they're going to say these are not Sith. I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt they're going to do that, because they're walking around with the red kyber. The bled kyber crystals that is red now, because that's how Disney does it. So everything you said, back it up a little bit, Lorena. Just a little bit with all those lightsabers out there. That means so my thing is this. This is how stupid this is. So this means that one Sith is going to be all those Jedi, right? Or the Jedi beat that Sith. So now, or Dark Jedi, whatever it's supposed to be. But I doubt they're going to get rid of that fast, right? So if they get rid of the Sith now, which I don't know, they might be maybe intelligent enough to say that. They're like, oh, we got rid of the Sith. And then 100 years from now, they're going to have to alter that line when Yoda says the Sith have been disappeared for 1,000 years. Mm-hmm. Or they do something stupid and say that Sith beats all those Jedi. One Sith going to beat all those Jedi, because it's got to be either or. There is no in between. You can't let either one of them live and walk away from that. They have to be out. Rule of two? Yes, the rule of two is the one master and the one apprentice to crave the power. That's the rule.
No more, no less.
Started by Darth Vader. Now let's be 100%. Within the EU, you got to remember, we're talking about galaxy-wide. There's a galaxy is very big. There were other Sith out there. The Lost Tribe of the Sith did exist, but they didn't get known until the New Jedi era. Yes, They were Dark Jedi, because remember, to be a Sith, you have to have it's not just, I use the dark side. It is Sith magic, Sith alchemy, because the dark side Jedi made it or combined with the Sith tribe. There was an actual tribe of people called Sith that used alchemy, dark magics and stuff, and that became the blueprint for Sith power, basically. And yes, there are the Dark Jedi out there, but I don't. This show me now. Listen, to be fair, in the EU, there were a great Jedi, which was actually the Emperor Fel's, which is Jaina's descendant, Jaina Solo's family, because she marries Jagged Fel, and that becomes the Fel Empire. They were considered great Jedi because they weren't part of the Order, but they were because of the fact that they were protectors of the Emperor, they used the actual white saber. They were the ones, the first one to use that, because that meant they were neutral. So Disney is not doing anything new. They're cherry picking like they said they were going to do, which I give them credit. They're actually keeping their word and cherry picking everything they want from the EU, but they're cherry picking from the EU and effing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, like looking at that one screenshot right there, Lorena, that is inexcusable. Like I said, if you're doing a story, it has to be barriers inside this story that you got to apply those rules. Mm-hmm. How many Jedi we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6?
I want to say 7. I see 7
right?
sabers.
7 sabers.
7 sabers. Okay, 7 sabers. So 7 Jedi fully trained. Look, I'm assuming because they look older, so you're gonna say they at least at the very minimum knight, right? Knight level Jedi are going to lose to one. And if they say he's not a Sith, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. I like I said, there's no way they're doing this scene right. They were looking at right, and it's not gonna destroy the lore. This scene right here alone is gonna destroy so much going forward.
But then again, this is from a chick, and Leslie Headland did say this in an interview where they asked her, well, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh, God.
I don't know. All of them?
All of them!
No real fan would say
Empire
all
Strikes
of them.
Back.
Or even if you didn't know, it's like,
that's it.
I don't know which one, but you know what? I'm going to watch them all, and then I'll let you know which one is my favorite, but not like, oh, I don't know. All of them.
It's like asking somebody what's your favorite food.
Yeah. Right?
You know? Go ahead.
It's real simple. Somebody asked Dimaj and I, who's your favorite Star Wars? I say Empire Strikes Back. The second is The New Hope, right? AKA Star Wars, the original name. Then it's Return of the Jedi. Then I say Revenge of the Sith. And then you got Clone Wars, and then Phantom Menace. And then obviously the EU just surrounds that and binds all of it together like a true Force user. It binds it all. That's what the EU did. It surrounded and binded the 6 movies together and gave us a proper Star Wars universe. That's why I don't need any of this. My Star Wars is right here. I don't know if you can see that. Right in that section right there. That's where all my Star Wars. That's all I need.
Yeah. I mean, that's the surprising thing is that. Well, I was just going to say really quickly. That's the surprising thing about this whole thing is that the EU, some of the EU stories were really, really, really great. Yes. And why you don't necessarily translate that because you've had like 20 years to workshop this, right? Or I should say, get fan reactions to this material and understand what works and what doesn't. The fact that they don't utilize any of that institutional memory, for lack of a better term, is surprising. But go ahead, Lorena.
No, it's just because I think they know better. Because remember, way, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, Kathleen Kennedy says, well, we didn't have any existing material. I'm just like, okay, that's a lie from the pit of hell, number one. As somebody who lived, again, in the Hollywood
10th
bubble.
circle of hell, that's where that lie was from.
Yes. Totally. As many times as I would walk into one of the Barnes & Noble on Ventura Boulevard in Encino, okay, literally on all of these shelves, they would have stickers like, this book would make a good screenplay because X, Y, and Z. They had them all over in Barnes & Noble. They had a huge section of Star Wars EU novels that are there. So the whole thing is Disney thinks that they know better. They will never admit that they're wrong. That they know better about the lore. They know better than the 6 movies because there are only 6 movies. 6 movies, and in the body of EU work that's out there. But if you look at this is kind of what tipped me off a little bit. What kind of crouching tiger, hidden dragon stuff is that we just saw?
And don't get me wrong, using the Force for athleticism makes sense. I just don't like the fact that, again, let's be fair, Yoda was doing all that kind of stuff in episode 2 and 3, he's flipping around all the time.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with that specifically. My problem is she's out in the open fighting a Jedi. That's my biggest problem. I'm going to say this real quick. I know I said this before. I'm just going to say it again. So one of my favorite novels from the EU is Darth Plagueis book, which this episode is an affront to the Darth Plagueis book, right? This whole series they're coming out with. In that book, there's a side story where Sidious tells Maul, because the Death Star plans had gotten stolen from him. They had a Jedi spy who stole the Death Star plans. This is before episode 4, right? And he says, listen, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get those plans no matter what. And they cannot know we exist. Make it look like blaster bolts. So that's what Maul did. He went around, boop, because lightsabers are actually deadly. You can't get stabbed and shrug them off. He was just popping everybody once or twice, pop, straight lines, pop, straight lines, and got what he needed to get done. Because he was told not to let them know he exists. This flapping around, all out in the open, that's my problem.
Well, yeah, it undermines the stories as told by George Lucas quite extensively, because at least to my knowledge, at least my interpretation of it, the Jedi had become complacent because there had been no conflict for an extended period of time. And then when conflict arose, it was like, all hands on deck, and well, everybody is still in that kind of complacency mode, right? They're out of sorts a little bit by it, and obviously you have the shade of the dark side over them and everything else like that. This necessarily subverts all of that by introducing this amount of conflict from these specific characters, like you said, Dark Jedi or I should say Sith, in this place in the timeline. You have to utilize so many mental gymnastics in order to make this make sense or consistent with the existing stories. You might as well not even place this here in the timeline.
Exactly. So listen, I would have been more, even though I really don't want them touching anything, this would have made sense. This story that they're doing makes sense 1,100 years prior to Yavin. Yeah. This story makes sense then. And then you could have actually had some real conflict, which would have been awesome, which we still have not had. Think about that. Disney, I'm going to give you a little hint. How about you have all-out war between Jedi and Sith? So you've not done that. You showed the Clone Wars, which is Sidious's plan, but there was a time when the Sith were just about as much as the Jedi.
Oh yeah,
and that was a serious conflict to have, right? I mean, which sucks, like the Old Republic MMO games, right? Not the classic one. You know what I'm talking about? The Knights MMO version of it. Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic. The Old Republic and it's Knights of the Old Republic. The Old Republic, those little like snippets, the cinematics they used to have them. Those alone were. I would pay to see. I would have paid money to see just those snippets alone because that made perfect sense. And guess what? Ding, ding, ding. The main protagonist was a female. She's actually a descendant of Revan too, which is what's her name? Satil Shan. Not Satil. Satil was the grandmother. But Stilla. No, Satil is her name. Bastilla was the grandmother. But yeah, she's a descendant of Darth Revan.
Okay. Well, one last thing I want to point out, and it's very interesting that the marketing so far has been quite different from what we got with Kenobi, with what we got somewhat from Ahsoka, where it's just like, if you guys aren't watching this, then you're Isserphobes or whatever. With this one, which I actually thought was pretty cool. I'm going to mute it here, but I did put it in the beginning. Amanda Steinberg actually, she asked if she could play on the violin the Star Wars theme. And John Williams said, cool. Not only did he say that, but he actually wrote the solo arrangement for her.
Awesome.
So I thought that this was really, really, really a nice way that didn't insult the fans or anything like that. It's like, okay, something that everyone can kind of, okay, I get it. That's nice. It's cool. It's not divisive. It's something that we hadn't really heard before because there's never been a solo violin arrangement for that piece of music. It was always, an orchestral piece.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
I dig it, and I like what you said. It is a different approach to it. My thing is, this is great now, but I'm thinking once the show comes out and people start really, going in on it, or maybe not even watching it, because I'm not. I might watch Raging Rhino's version of it, but I'm not. But once that happens, I think it's gonna start happening again. I think it will. They can't help themselves already. They can't.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, go ahead, Bash.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I do like how they're taking at least a little bit of a different approach than outright attacking the fans or being on the offensive every single time they release one of these things. It's nice to see that they can do stuff like this. Now, that violin performance is good. It's not spectacular. Just because of the.
You notice you're probably used to hearing the whole orchestra behind us. That's probably
I am a stickler for this stuff.
It does feel like it's missing something because it is missing a whole bunch that went behind it. That's just me. It is missing that little extra kick. But I like the fact that they're doing something different rather than come at the fans.
I do like the slower arrangement of it, and you can tell that John Williams' writing is part of it. I was just talking about like the vibrato and the execution of it.
Yeah,
it's just like some of it's just like okay, but that's just my personal feelings on it. The intent, though, I think is genuine, and that's cool and that's good. I think my fear of it is that with Leslie Headland's approach to this, it's like I said, it's bashing together action figures and not necessarily thinking about the complications that arise from doing stuff like this in this time period. Remember, she said, "Oh yeah, Rian Johnson, he's my hero," kind of thing.
Yeah,
like, I have so much respect for him and everything else. And what he did to the canon, how he treated this universe. I feel a lot of that same energy from this, and that's why I'm deeply worried because Demogeny is right. That if they would have set this anywhere else in the time period, then I think a lot of people could get on board with this and not pick this apart before it even comes out. But because it's set in this particular time period with this kind of established lore, right? It's you're cutting yourself at the knees before you can even run.
So one of the things I always say is the fact that they can't help themselves. And I know. Listen, I get it. This is all George's playground, but every single time that they touch anything within 1 through 6, I'll even give them their Disney trilogy, their 7, 8, 9, which is unfortunately connected to 1 through 6. Every time they touch that, they are injecting something that now they have to retcon. This entire show will have to be a retcon to what George already put out there. It will have to be. Listen, that scene alone, the one we were just looking at a few minutes ago, that scene alone destroys everything because it's going to be one of the two things. They either wipe out the Dark Jedi and be like, okay, well, now you have to change what Yoda said to Mace, right? Or that one Sith beats all the Jedi, which is going to be insane. Although Sidious did beat like four masters, but we're talking 7 people again. It's supposed to be the Acolyte, so it's probably not even going to be the Master, right? So again, Sidious beating all of the Jedi Masters made sense because he was the Sith Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to say that one Sith is going to beat 7 people? 7? And then what happens is you're going to wipe out those 7 people. You know they're going to be slashing them. Again, like I said in that book, Sidious said, make sure it looks like blaster bolts. They're going to be slashing them. So when Yoda, who's alive, is going to be like, well, we have to report we're missing 7 Jedi. Send somebody to investigate. Somebody goes to investigate. These people were killed with lightsabers, not by blasters, because Yoda could tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Remember it happened in episode 3. So you're going to say, okay, we got 7 Jedi, 66 by a lightsaber. Who did it? We got to find out who did this. Now you got a spotlight on the Sith, which takes away from the grand plan. I'm just saying.
Exactly. But then again, it goes back to the hubris of Disney Star Wars.
Yep.
We can do it better.
Yep.
Than the established lore that George Lucas has out there. Not that let's study what's out there and then what we come up with traces back to that.
Yes.
No, that's not what they're doing. And even if, like, we'll say a normie, because that's how I am with the Star Wars movies. I didn't really read the novels. It's taken me 3 times as long to listen to Darth Plagueis because it's so darn good. But even normies are going to be like, I'm sorry, where does this line up with the movies?
Right.
Why should I even invest in this if I just know the movies? But I do agree. I find it interesting because I like to see the plans within plans. I find it interesting that the approach is very, very different towards the fans this time going around. But yeah, I'm not surprised if the ratings don't go the way that they will.
Mm-hmm.
Watch for the same type of blame games that are going on, because like I say about Disney Star Wars, I don't trust them hoes. Y'all know that. Don't trust them.
Well, and didn't Leslie Headland even say, she was like, hey, anybody could be George Lucas? He doesn't know all the answers?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he doesn't know the answers when this came out of his head. All this stuff came from his head. Yeah, and one more thing too, I gotta mention about this thing too. So that red lightsaber that this Sith Acolyte has, where did he get that blade from? Because in Disney lore, you have to 66 a Jedi, take their lightsaber kyber crystal, bleed it, and turn it red now. It's not like the original lore. The original lore when the Sith made, which by the way, Sith were innovators. They were the ones who made the single cell powered lightsaber. Because before that, in several thousand years ago, the proto lightsaber had a battery pack. The Sith were the ones who made it into the hilt form. So, and they used to use synthetic crystals, which shorted out the naturally forming crystals, which is why they were so dangerous. Why they preferred to use synthetic crystals. That's why they did that. So now this Sith that has this red saber, where did they get the red saber from? Because now you can't just get them. According to them in the Disney lore, all kyber crystals are clear. They're all clear. In the original lore, they had their own color, and that color would call to you,
right?
Because then that would prove the blue meant you were defensive, the green was offensive/defensive. Even though the yellows weren't canon before, but the canon were more sentinels. Red,
right?
Even though they were natural in the original lore, they were natural form in red, but the Jedi didn't use them because the Sith used them, and they didn't want to have that distinction to them. But they're like in Jedi Power Battles, which is the game that came out for the Phantom Menace. One of the Jedi did have a ruby rose colored blade. It wasn't red, but it was ruby rose. So they did have that color. They just stayed away from it. But now they're all clear. So where are they going to get the red blade from? Just saying that this is the lore that you made, Disney. You made this lore.
That's pretty much it. My guess is that they're dumping those first 2 episodes because I don't think the first episode is all that good, because that's usually what they'll do. They'll put them all together. The second one looks like it's about to pull things out of the fire, so to speak.
Mhm.
Me being a betting person, these rating numbers are going to be abysmal because
It's not going to tell you anything either. You know it.
no, no, no.
It's
They're like,
on Disney
everything is
Plus.
fine. Everything
It's
is
gonna be
fine.
the meme
No,
with the
it's-
dog in the fire.
The dog in the
This is
fire.
fine.
Yes.
It's okay.
No, it's gonna be
Everything's fine.
it's gonna be the #1 streaming show in June on a Tuesday. You know, in
exactly.
at 6 p.m. What are you talking about? No,
It's
they're gonna,
just being
it's gonna be
somebody,
#1.
with somebody putting their head on their hand and their foot on the circle and drinking a soda. That's just gonna be the #1 show with.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Yes, I will be watching this show. Yes, if you are a channel member, we will be watching / roasting it together because dang it, that's just what we are.
You know what, Lorena? I'm almost tempted to put my straw hat on for this one. Because I really, like I said, Darth Plagueis is one of my favorite novels. And I just want to, I want to see this so I can, like you say, just give it a proper roasting. I'm almost tempted to do it. I'm almost tempted. But the straw hat will be on. I'm putting my straw hat straight on. And my red vest.
I will send you the StreamYard webinar link. Okay. I will send that to you. Okay.
You think Raging Rhino's gonna be bad about this? Wait till you get a load of me.
That's the only way I could get through it. So you guys, if you're channel members, and I hope you are channel members, we get to watch stuff like this at the same time, all together. Go back and look at what we did with Ahsoka. All those clips that I would put on Twitter came from us roasting Ahsoka. So you know what we have to do. Okay, yeah, I just might watch it with you. Yeah, trust me, watch it. I've had people say I wasn't watching Ahsoka, but I was watching you roast Ahsoka. And that was, are we talking Anakin level of roasting? Anakin added with a touch of Aunt Beru.
Oh,
Barbecued Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Yeah, we go scorched earth. We are no respecter of persons. We go scorched earth on that sucker.
Roasted Ronto right there.
That's what we do. Yes, Soul Assassin Crispy. You know how I go. You know how I go. I'm like, dang it, if I gotta watch this thing, I fall on a grenade, so y'all don't have to. But speaking of grenades, man, how much in the crap is Ubisoft right now?
Oh, did you see the new thing that they put out about this? It was
Which one?
The new article. It was on that Park Place.
That Park Place. John F. Trent had it this morning.
Oh,
yeah,
wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Let me find it.
It gets worse.
With the Skittles portion of it.
It gets worse.
Yes, because I have.
They're going full Skittles on it.
Where the heck is it?
Right there.
I pulled. Wait a minute. Let me show you. Okay, so I found this. Right. And
let me blow my
let me
screen
see
up.
if they
Man,
have.
you gotta use a dark screen. What are you doing right now? What are you doing?
Because I want to.
I need a dark screen. I can't see that.
I
gotta blow the screen up.
No, I don't read on this one as much. My other one is like a dark thing, but yeah. So
bright light.
Darn grandma now. But anyway, I promise next time I'll do it. So they're talking about bisexual, non-binary Black samurai. And here's what I said: yet further emasculation of Black men.
So with this thing, remember what I said about when you're basing something on a game or a movie or whatever, and it has certain rules to it, right? Now, a lot of people haven't really been talking about is the price of this thing, right? It's always been about the Yasuke thing, right? The Yasuke thing really is annoying because who is this for? Really, who's it for? Because you're not impressing me, right? Look, I understand he was a real character in past, but here's the deal: to put him in I talked about this on my stream. What they could have taken the same concept, made the prologue about him going and meeting Nobunaga, right? And then because in the actual story, he's only there for about a year before Nobunaga gets assassinated, right? So you can say he goes there as part of the Assassin's Guild, right? As to go get training, special training from the samurai. Nobunaga he becomes his retainer, whatever you want to call him, right? He gets assassinated, and then he says, okay, he has to go back to Africa, wherever he goes, right? He goes back, and then you start the game from there. Because for you to have a 6'3" black man doing assassin stuff in the middle of feudal Japan doesn't make sense. Listen, my niece is half Japanese. Okay, Japan is a relatively, up until most of modern history, they've been a very isolationist country, right? Very and could you imagine how it would have been in the 1500s? You're not listen. He could have been
no way.
I'm sure he could have been a retainer, right? That's what a lot of people say. He was a retainer. He wasn't a samurai. Whatever the case may be, right? So the thing about it is, do you think in any way, form, or fashion they're going to have a person who looks like him getting the status of what the Japanese would call a knight? That's what the samurai were. They were the law. They were almost like knights if European history, right? That's what they were on the Japanese side of things. There's no way a foreigner would have got that. Now, maybe if Yasuke was, half Japanese or whatever, and the chances that happened back then would have been almost slim to none. But had he grown up in Japan and been a Japanese, countryman, okay, maybe you might have that conversation that he became an actual samurai. Not like that. Not in a year.
No, it's not. It's not gonna happen. And to add historical context to this, yes, there is absolutely no concrete documentation that proves Yasuke was a samurai. He was not. Some of you were getting the Netflix anime version of Yasuke somehow mixed up with Afro Samurai. That didn't happen. Okay. At this point in Japan's history, one, they were extremely isolated. They were fighting amongst themselves. Very, very wary of any outsiders. The Portuguese got up in there because they had a secret base in Macau, but that was a very small, limited amount of people. As a matter of fact, they were the only ones who knew how to actually get there to Japan, because Portuguese, they were master sailors. Okay, Prince Henry Navigator, they were the ones that went over there, and they went to Japan. Supposedly, if they had any black people with them, more than likely they were slaves. And Yasuke was basically a bozales, which I believe is what I like to call fresh off the boat. That's pretty much what the Spanish or Portuguese term is. Okay, he was a slave. It wasn't like there was a bunch of African slaves running around Japan. No, that did not happen. So I find it extremely disingenuous and insulting. And like Dimajan, I have a couple of cousins who are half black and they're half Japanese. I've never freaking heard of Yasuke ever from them for him being a samurai. The thing is, he's not a samurai, but pay attention to what the real game is being played when it comes to Ubisoft. You guys ever see how much this game is? Okay.
$129. You add, if you do 6.65% sales tax on that, what are we getting on that? What's my damn count right here? I'm looking at. Let's do some math. I'm not X-ray girl. I can't do it off the top of my head. Sorry.
You're talking like $140, aren't you?
Yeah.
About that. Yeah, because if you're 10, let's see if it's like that. We're guessing if we say it's like 10%. I mean, we're talking probably New Orleans sales tax. It's like another $13 put on top of that game.
About 138 over here. 138.
So 100 and I don't get, and this is not a physical copy.
No,
correct. This is not a physical copy. So this is not like say with the Hogwarts Legacy, where you could actually buy the physical copy, and because of the bonus stuff that you got, that's why people were buying them.
Mhm.
But we'll say $140 to round it up, $140 to be able to get all the goodies.
And then you got to get the $17.99 a month too. That's the ongoing, right? So you're paying for that too.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yeah, I guess
That's-
if you want to play it monthly, you can pay $17.99 a month for what is that, like Ubisoft Plus or something like that? So you basically get to rent the game for $17.99 a month, and the other games that they have out there.
Mm-hmm. Plus 100 PC games. So that's what it's saying. So
yes,
so it's basically that. I guess that's their Game Pass that they're doing for PlayStation's version of the Game
yeah,
Pass.
like PlayStation, like PSN, something like that they have going on. But
that's like you say, that's the. Good. I'm sorry.
Oh no, good.
Now I was just saying that the whole Yasuke thing, they knew what they were doing by putting, which again, they could have easily, like I said, they could have easily taken that main character, placed him in Africa, say he got trained. First off, the way you need to make that actually happen is he's supposed to be a part of the Assassin's Guild because it's called Assassin's Creed. So say he's part of the Assassin's Guild. He goes to Japan because he was supposed to meet up with Nobunaga or whatever, and they actually knew each other through the network. He goes out there to help him with a certain thing, not to assassinate anybody, just to help him with something. And then he gets assassinated while he's there. He has to go back. You start the game off, him in Africa. Or, because he has to get, what's her name? Naui. So he takes her back to Africa with him. And then they go and do their adventure. Great. You can do the same thing there, put him in Africa, and actually tell African folklore. How about that? That's the thing that gets me. Why are they so afraid to do that? If you're going to do a black character, do it all the way. Don't do it halfway. Do the whole thing.
It's
and to make it even crazier, do you have the thing on it? I think they actually, the promotion for this game is that I think one of the bylines that he's supposed to be protecting the people of Japan from their oppressors or something like that.
I saw that.
I'm like, really?
I said,
really? Japan, feudal Japan, everybody's warring with each other at that time. If you're on the wrong side of the clan, then you got wiped out. It wasn't about being oppressed. They were warring. That was the whole thing that was going on back then. Like you said, it was very isolationist, and they were warring back then.
Exactly. And if you don't quite understand the setting of it, go watch Shogun. All of the episodes are out.
I need to watch that. See, you give
so
me
good.
shows I gotta watch. I got so much anime I'm watching right now.
Dude, I know. I got a ton of anime, but when Shogun came out, it's like I had to sit there and watch that. It shows you all of what was going on, then. There were so many daimyos fighting over, over land, over titles. It was it was insane. It was that point in time where Japan was, they're being forced basically to unify. So I'm like, oppressors, what in what way? So you're going to use that coded language, because that's the thing. When they start coming out with this coded language and everything, it's not about the game. It's not about the game. It's about them trying to be able to sell it to you. You don't buy it. Shame on you. When in reality, people just need to be, your game sucks. I don't care what you call me. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, that's the thing I was hearing. Somebody who was talking about it, I think it was Hypnotic was talking about it. That they were saying that this game is the highest pre-order game right now. At the same time, what are we looking at on the downvotes for this game? What's the downvotes?
Oh, I think I have the trailer. Wait a minute.
Do you have the trailer pulled up already?
I got the trailer. I got the trailer. Okay, let me skip this darn ad. But y'all can see that, right? Y'all see
Oh
that
yeah,
downvote, right?
I got that like this.
That's the
like,
IGN one. No, I want to go to their original one.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me go
It's
to
the
that one.
Ubisoft one. The Ubisoft one
I
is even
thought
more
I
gangster.
I thought I had the Ubisoft one. Daggone it. Shame on
Yeah,
me.
here we
I
go.
thought I
Here's the
had that one up here.
Ubisoft one. Reveal trailer. That one.
I don't know what you guys are talking
Come
about. I
on,
mean,
come
I
on. Give
saw
me my
that
thing
AI
loaded up.
generated
Nope, that's not right.
photos
That's not the right
of.
one either.
I saw the
'Cause
AI
I
generated
had.
photos.
Looks like they changed it. I think they might have changed it.
Ooh, oh no, I got it. Here we go.
Oh.
There it is. There it is.
Oh,
There it is. That's the one.
This
So you can't
is
tell me that is not coinciding with the most pre-ordered game being downvoted
no
like that.
pre-ordered when? Like on a Monday night between
Yeah.
6 a.m. and 6 p.m. or something. Oh
Man.
And the other part about this too is that yes, they were female ninja, but like most things at that time, they were you want to talk about being in the shadows, they really were in the shadows. There's no way that a female at that time would be walking around doing what she's doing, not being not more subservient to men back then. That's how things were back then. I know people don't like to realize it, but back in the day, things were a certain way. What they call toxic. But that's just how things were.
In Shogun, they highlight the fact that you have female assassins, but I mean they were really covert. I mean, they really dedicated themselves to the craft.
Yeah.
They were usually the ones that were assassins were undercover as courtesans. No one suspected suspected them at all.
Correct.
So it made them the perfect assassins because they were privy to all kinds of information.
Till they were activated, you had no idea.
You had no idea who the heck it was. At all. But this trailer is freaking abysmal.
It's why their stock went down.
But my thing is, this is supposed to be an Assassin's Creed thing, right? Why is he with the army? I thought the assassins were supposed to be in the shadows.
Good point.
It's like a pseudo Black Flag. Got to make things bigger, bolder. Got to have armies now instead of just assassins working within the shadows.
Again, like I said, my biggest thing about this is that even if you were to say he was around the shogun at the time, right? And he had him at his side. For him to get the status of samurai, he's not doing that within that time. Not that fast. Not that fast. Again, if this story would have been about somebody who was half black and was a citizen of Japan for their whole life and got trained as a samurai their whole life, okay, we have a conversation. Not somebody who. The one thing we have on record that we know is that he was only there for like a year. That part we know. What he was doing there for that year, who knows? Like that's the part where it gets a little crazy. But for him to be, again, for a foreigner to get the status of a samurai, aka a knight, in 1 year, that ain't happening.
I think what he was basically a curiosity, so to speak. I mean, they thought that he was dirty. It turns out, no, that's actually what his skin was like.
Yeah.
So that particular daimyo was just like, oh, I like having him around. He's a conversation piece. I like his stature. He can actually wrestle for me. Give me some entertainment. But there's no way this dude was an actual samurai. And the amount of mental gymnastics that I've seen on Twitter, you can't say that he wasn't a samurai. Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. What documentation do you have? Well,
Even like you say, without the documentation, just the length of time he was there. How would that happen? No matter how you slice it, the only way he's an actual samurai who lived in Japan, he had to have been born there. That's it. That's the only way.
Right.
That's the only way.
yeah.
Well, your absurd claim doesn't become, magically true just because you can't actually prove evidence and it's not. Like, no. You have to prove its existence first, and then we can have a discussion on what, on the merits of that argument going forward. This idea, yeah. I mean, you see the comic, right, of the guy, assassinating somebody in the street, and everybody's like, be on the lookout for anybody who's suspicious, and you have somebody who's
find this guy,
Yeah,
somebody
right.
stands out like that,
Yeah, and it's just like, this is ridiculous. I mean, every single Assassin's Creed game before this has had the main character be, of the country that it's set in, right? So you had, French, Unity,
Verge,
you had
I
Frenchmen.
think.
Yeah, London, English, I think Black Flag Welsh, and all that. This is the one game in which you don't do that, but at the same time, everybody's been looking forward to a game set in this region and being able to play, as someone of the region.
Rent me for $70 or more.
It's just so disingenuous when it comes to history. Like, I talk a lot about genealogy because I had to do a lot of research. It wasn't enough. You can't just like roll up and say, hey, I'm a Mayflower descendant. Granted, I have issues with the general society of Mayflower descendants because they've just gone freaking woke and apologetic, and I'm not down with that whatsoever. You can't just say, oh, I'm a descendant because, my grandmother said that we were. No. It's like, where's your documentation? Where's all the birth certificates? Where's all the records? And if they cannot find your ancestor in what they call these silver books, you're not a Mayflower descendant. Now, for myself, because history is complicated, I've had to DNA test myself and 5 members of my family. We all match up genetically with people who are Mayflower descendants. So that says, without a shadow of a doubt, guess what? We do actually descend from those Mayflower passengers. It's not like, oh, we'll just write this person, you can just say that you were. No, that's not how that works. But then again, that requires proof, and logic for these people they can't hang with that.
Who's that politician who did that? Who said she was like a quarter Indian or something like that?
Oh,
Pocahontas?
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Pocahontas.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
most people
more
do now. No, I'm definitely more Native American than her.
Yeah.
I'm actually more Irish than she's more than Native American than she is. That I can tell you that right now. That I know for a fact.
Seeing the Japanese reaction to this game,
that's the other thing too. They're not like this.
They're not liking this. And here's the thing, Ubisoft had a real opportunity here because it was in the shadow of Shogun that just come out. Everybody's like, yeah, feudal Japan, that looks like an amazing place to set anything in. People would have been gung-ho for this. It came out at the perfect time, and yet they, now it's not just that, okay, we're gonna have, this is the main protagonist that we're going with. Oh, no. It's not just his musical characteristics that people are going to have problems with, but we're going to go inject some Skittles into the whole equation. It's like,
Skittles.
what are you doing?
Skittles.
Stop this.
The thing about it is they're saying that the guy and the girl are both Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
Listen, you could have easily just had it be a romance. Why not? But see, that would have been way too much for them to go in. Now you're really pushing the envelope in. You're really pushing the envelope. In the 1500s, having a foreigner, which again, if that was the case, and you said that he was, born there, They actually could have. To be fair, right? They could have not made it Yasuke, right? They could have made a character like Yasuke, but have him be born there, and have him be half Japanese, right?
Yep.
And by the way, how is your freaking dreads that perfect in the 1500s? I'm just saying.
Thank you.
That's crazy,
right? If anything, he would have had an afro. If you're gonna say he had hair at all,
Or
so,
just
right?
I was going to say, or just do the whole ball thing. That would probably
exactly. But yeah, you could have did that, and then it would. I think. Listen, it probably would have went over better then if you'd have said that the character was half Japanese and half African, and then have it set in that time, and then have it be like, because the thing I'm still stuck on is that they're making it as if it's a war story when it's supposed to be an Assassin's Creed story. Like, why is that happening like that? Like, even though in the original, I guess the only one I ever played was the first one, the PlayStation Classic. It was on PlayStation 3. The classic one where it was the assassin, and it was basically the assassins versus the Crusaders. Yeah, the Templars. Yeah. So they had that war in the background, right? But it was still the Assassin's Creed going. The assassins doing it. So this, I could see them say, okay, well, they have the feudal Japan in the background, but why you have him in the foreground fighting with them if it's supposed to be an assassin's game?
Yeah, because that's what I don't get. I could see if this is like an associate that the protagonist would have found out later on. Like, this is where I need to get intel from. That makes sense. Assassins don't work in pairs. It's not how that works. But again, I just think it's yet another case, and I wish I had the link. I don't, of the chick responsible for writing this story.
Oh, I heard about her.
I do believe. I think there was this one picture. I forget who put it out there of the head of Sweet Baby Inc. in the back of like a picture that they took of everyone that was there.
Sweet Baby Stink.
It makes sense. You're not writing a logical story. You're not writing a story that's engaging enough to play a game. You're making a game to support this agenda that you want to push out there. And that's exactly it. They've got the perfect cover story. You don't like it. Gamers are racist. Gamers are homophobic. How come they didn't want to buy our game? This is why they're not going to freaking buy the game. Of course, you're going to have some people who are going to buy it because some people like train wrecks. I understand. Unless you've got like $70, $80, $100 to spare, which I do not. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm not going to
lie. There is a game that gets that kind of money from me, but that's an MMO, and it's called Final Fantasy 14. That's about it.
That makes sense.
I'm not going to lie. I do drop some coin on an MMO, right? It's a pay to play, so I get that. But a single player game like that, you're going to spend all that money for what? Maybe a 1 or 2 time playthrough? I justify the Final Fantasy 14 because the story doesn't end, which I have to get my new subscription because it's about to drop. Oh my God, just remembered. I got to get my new subscription. But yeah, so $140 for a game that you only get to play maybe once or twice. Come on. That's asking way too much.
That ain't working. Oh, and before I forget, if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, guess what's coming to Steam?
What?
Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, I believe. Yeah.
That's cool.
Really?
That's cool.
I still play my PS4 version. I think I have like a double disc set. I don't know. Yeah, I bought it like a long time ago.
There's rumor of a series or a movie coming out. Or
I think I heard about a movie possibly. I think I heard rumblings out there somewhere, but I know I did see that it's coming to Steam. So, well, I think that's also part of the strategy that Square Enix is doing because that single.
Oh yeah, well, they have to. Yes. Yeah. Speaking of that,
yeah,
I'm so sad that this game ain't really doing well because it really isn't doing well.
Which one's that one?
I'm a Final Fantasy. That's Rebirth.
Oh, okay. Rebirth. Yeah, I heard about Rebirth.
Yeah, honestly, that it's not as good as it should be. The game is good when it wants to be Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good when it wants to be the mini game, the Final Fantasy, the mini game, because that's basically what it is. It's so many mini games in there, and they're mandatory too. Like if you want to proceed, you got to play these mini games. Like I'm all for a good side quest, but it's literally like what it seems like they did is exactly what I was saying. The problem would be with Assassin's Creed playthrough like that is they try to make a single player game like an MMO. The way they had this game, it would have been fine if it was an MMO and those games were just there to keep the game going when the story mode is you're in between. Right. Here's a mini game you can play to keep keep you excited about the game. That type of stuff works well if you got an MMO that's gonna be you're gonna have to fill in some gaps. Not for a game that I want to play, because now every one of these games now is always a new game plus. Even Stellar Blade, which I still haven't really gotten 100%. Stellar Blade has a new game plus. This game has a new game plus, which means in order for you to beat the game, you have to beat the game and then play it on the whatever hard mode version of it to actually beat the game.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's how you. It's not like how before, like the original Final Fantasy VII, you would play the whole game, get max everything out, beat Sephiroth, and you beat the game. Yay! Right. This one, you're gonna max yourself out, beat Sephiroth, and have to play it again to get all the stuff you need. Which I'm in the middle of doing that now. I'm actually because I am doing Spellbroken Gaming, which by the way, I did switch my days. My days. Spellbroken Live is now on Sundays, and Spellbroken Gaming is going to be on Saturdays now. Just because the way the new job is, I can do a Sunday and I want to have a much more stable time to do the show. So that's what I'm doing with that. So right now I'm playing this game, but I'm in the middle of farming. So there's nothing I can really do other than farm. I'm trying to max out. I'm in chapter 13, and it ends in chapter 14. So the way I play my games, I don't go to the end unless I'm in max. So I'm just sitting in this one spot and just leveling up. So that's kind of boring to be streaming. So I've been playing other games in the meantime. I've been playing some Stellar Blade. I've been playing some Street Fighter 6, which I'm getting ready for. Akuma. Yes. And that's another game I did some DLC for. I'm a sucker for, look, listen, you pull out Akuma, I'm like, shut up and take my money. Especially when like the new Raging Demon they got for him. I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh yeah. When I see that, I say, yep, shut up. Here's my money. Take it.
I did. You know what, Zachariah 315. I have Ghost of Tsushima on my PS4, but I don't have enough memory on the PS4 actually to play it because I got other games that are on it. I really should not have downloaded Skyrim instead. But anyway, folks, as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here on the Spice Lounge. Dimaj and I thank you so much for being here. You want to let the people know where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Yes. DM, AJ, I, the Lord Command of the Dark Council, which I thought there was one today. Silly me for trying to keep track of these days. Anyway, like I said, yes, I do my shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So the way it works, you get 2 shorts, 1 long form, 1 gaming stream, and 1 live stream where we get to discuss the things for the week. And that's so you get 5 days a week with me. Obviously, every other week you get the Dark Council. So technically, you're getting 6 days of Dimaj and I, if you just make sure you keep track of what the Dark Council's on and not on. But yeah, you can find me on the Dark Council every other Wednesday, which would have been today, but it's not. On Fatal J's channel, where you find myself, Lorena, the rest of the crew, Fatal J, Lord Callis, Junk 3PO, Abu Nas, the fake retired Abu Nas. And Mark with the C. Yeah, because we all know House of the Dragons coming out. Listen, I keep telling him we're gonna Michael Corleone him. He thinks he's getting out, but we're gonna pull him back in.
Oh, I already told him he's gonna be on my channel as soon as that show starts. He already knows.
Now you talk about a show I can't wait for. I cannot wait for House of the Dragon, and I'm telling you, I'm putting it out there just like this here. I'm taking off the straw hat for that one. I'm taking it off. I'm not even putting my straw hat on for that one. I'm taking it off.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. Oh, I cannot wait. Yes, folks, we're gonna be watch partying that.
Yes.
Remember, as well. We're gonna be doing that.
Well, that's the reason why I want to do that, because I want to do because what I was doing before was kind of watching it after the fact, and I want to do it during. So I'm gonna put the straw hat down for a little bit. We'll put it down for a little bit.
That's the show you can't, because as soon as it ends, boom.
You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yeah. That's just how that goes.
Although I'm Team Black, I gotta tell you,
Black
Allison does look a little good. I'm just saying. I mean, she kind of had me when she took her shoes off. I'm just. I was like,
Well, folks, you have got to subscribe to Damaj and I. Please do check out his channel. I've got it listed in the description. And of course, one of my regular panelists, Bash, so glad you are here. Please do let the people know where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Well, you can find me in a bunch of places, actually. You can find me on That Park Place with Jonas A. Campbell right there, holding down the fort with 2 videos a day and a live stream actually tomorrow at noon Eastern, so definitely check that out if you'd like to. T3PO, That Park Place Podcast Online. We are doing all kinds of great content, like bringing the genre guys from Pro's channel over to the public realm there. Hollywood Backlight with Lou and you. Just actually got done with a 9-hour ending session there for that for that video right there. So that just went up today, so check that out if you have not. Definitely give that a subscribe for sure. Do live streams I think we're doing 2:30 Eastern every Tuesday right there, so definitely check that out if you can. And Theme Park Universe podcasts, that is still going on for sure. I actually got to get with Ethan and get some of those recorded because we cover theme parks all across the world, so if you're interested in any of that, you can go ahead and find all those links. Lorena was so very kind to provide this in both the chat and in the description. Definitely check those out. I sure would appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Bash. Love having you on the channel as usual. Love working with you on That Park Place as well. As for your girl, let's see. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Got 2 things coming from me on Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern. I will be on the Side Scrollers podcast. So on Stuttering Craig's channel. They've asked me back, so I am so happy to be back and appearing on their channel. Also, Thursday evening live, I am going to be reviewing the new film Furiosa, the Mad Max preview. Actually, I am too lazy to record a video for it. So guess what? We're doing it live.
Baby.
Doing it live.
That's right.
Letting you know what I thought about this film. And yes, I did. I paid my own money to go and see it tomorrow. So we're going to be going to see that. Over the weekend, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from streaming until Welcome to Florida on Sunday. Look for some videos to drop for your girl from the grand opening, or I should say pass holder preview for DreamWorks Land over at Universal. And not only DreamWorks Land, but the 80s themed tribute store that is going to be open as well. So you're going to get a double shot of videos from me over the weekend. So yes, please do subscribe to me. I'm trying to get to 8K by the end of the summer, so I appreciate it.
Wait, hold on. You don't bring that up. You don't bring that up to say you're going to get it to 8K. What you cosplaying as for 8K?
Is the question.
Because I enjoyed that Tifa. I'm just saying. I am a fan.
I did. Yeah, I did. I did Tifa cosplay. That went over very, very, very well.
What should we get her to dress as? For 8K?
I was requested Uhura for 8K original
series. Okay. I can dig that one. Okay. Since you already got one, listen, you can't say you're going to go to a certain land, and not give us a little, maybe a teaser. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. like, what did I promise this time? What did I say?
Let's do it. Let's get that 8K, baby. Come on. Let's do it.
Yeah. That'll be for 8K.
Likes and subscribes in the chat, guys.
Yes. No, I don't know what 9K is. I only know what 10K is, and I'll review that. I'll let you guys know that a little bit later on. But as always, guys, thank you so much for hanging out here, supporting the Spice Lounge. We certainly do appreciate it. You guys on the replay crew, drop a comment and let us know if you're watching this on the replay. Make sure you subscribe to all my amazing panelists on this channel. Make sure you hit that like button, and we will see you next time. Stay spicy, folks. Bye.
Later.